Welcome to The Bridge, the show that features happenings around the Woodbridge Township School District. I am your host, Darren Soretto, and we have another great lineup for this episode. Coming up next, we'll meet some talented science research students who have distinguished themselves in competition. Special guest, social studies supervisor Vincent Sacadato for an in-depth interview regarding Syracuse University Project Advance. Then, we'll go on site at Colonia Middle School to learn about the Fridays Friends program. In sports, we'll be featuring high schools as we meet some outstanding scholar athletes. And finally, special guest musician Aviel Balesa will be here to amaze us with her musical talent. Now we have to take a short break, but you don't want to miss a second of The Bridge, so come right back. Welcome back to The Bridge. Now, we've invited students all throughout the Woodbridge Township School District to send in illustrations of bridges. Today, we have a beautiful piece created by Sophia, a G&T student. This aqueduct was created as part of a project on art and architecture in ancient Rome. On the other side of our set, we have a bridge painting by Christopher from School Number 9. A beautiful color contrast with the sunrise in the background. So remember, send in your own bridge images to be included on the next episode of The Bridge. Now, I'd like to introduce Bridge correspondent Mark Menzel. We met Mark in the last episode of The Bridge as one of the school district's technology trainers. However, what we didn't mention about Mark is that he is something of a local celebrity in the science world. Back when he was a student at Colonia High School, Mark participated in science research competitions going all the way to nationals. So, we thought it would be a good idea to send Mark out to interview some science research students about their substantial accomplishments. Let's go over to Mark at Colonia High School right now.
Thanks, Darren, for that nice introduction. I'm here now with Gianna Fantel. How are we doing, Gianna?
I'm very good.
And we are here because she actually won the science fair. So tell us a little bit about what that was like to experience a victory like this.
Attending Intel ISEF was definitely one of the most gratifying experiences of my life so far. I was able to meet kids from all over the world, approximately 1,760 other student representatives from 77 other countries. So it was definitely a rewarding experience.
Very nice. And what brought you to this point today in your life where, where did you get into science? Tell us a little bit about your background and what made you interested in the subject.
I've definitely always been interested in science, even as a young child, and through the middle school program and Woodbridge SETS, which is the Woodbridge Township Science Symposium, I was able to do a project in 8th grade where I looked at how a diamagnetic substance influences pollen tube orientation, and then this year, just being with Mr. Danch in this classroom setting, I was able to work on this year's research and succeed.
Now, before we got into this year's research, tell us a little bit about the class you take here. It's called Science Research. I was one of the first ones, as Darren spoke about earlier, to take this class. How is it different from your standard class?
So it's definitely not your typical classroom setting. You don't take many tests. It's really just research oriented and research based, and every day you work on your research project, and that's about it.
Very cool. So now take us through layman's terms for those who are watching. What did you do here to have the victory and bring the glory to Colonia High School here?
So after evaluating a latitudinal gradient in snake pigmentation, so coloration, I was able to investigate how color played a role in thermoregulation for snakes, which is important to conservation.
Heat in snakes.
Yes, essentially.
Very cool. So what made you get into snakes? Why snakes?
Well, snakes, that's always just an animal. They're an integral part of a variety of ecosystems and just a beautiful species. And so that was definitely the foundation of my project.
Was this all done in New Jersey?
All done here, actually, in this classroom, although I was able to make observations with a herpetologist, also in New Jersey.
Very nice, very nice. Anything you want to leave us with for those who are interested in getting into the program or starting a research project or anything like that?
I would definitely say just work hard, find something that you're passionate about, and take this class. It's my favorite class. It's the most wonderful experience, and Mr. Danch is a great teacher.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to many more victories from you, Gianna, and you keep shining bright and keep showing us the great things here at Colonia High School.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now we're going to toss it to our next science research participant. I'm here with Matthew Lasue. How are you doing, Matt?
Doing right, sir.
Thanks
you.
for being on the show. I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about the science research program, and I know you had a different route than Gianna had to success. Tell us a little bit about what you were a part of this year.
Well, it was certainly more convoluted. What I did is I went to the Monmouth Junior Science Symposium, which is held every year down in Monmouth University. And to get into that and to get to the point where I got so I can go off to nationals, I had to do a couple things. The first one was submit a paper, and I was one of something like 120-odd papers. And out of those 120-odd papers, 10 of them were selected to go on stage and present. And out of those 10 people, the top 5 would go off to nationals. And out of the top 5, 3 of them would go off to do oral presentations, the same that I did on stage. So I happened to place first, and then I went off to nationals out in Dayton, Ohio, and unfortunately I didn't place, but I certainly had a good time because I got to meet people from all over the United States and all over the world, and managed to go see the National Museum of the United States Air Force, which is a pretty cool place, in my opinion.
Very cool, very cool. And take us through the steps. I know you said you had to write the paper. How long does it take you to write that paper? Do you start that right at the beginning of the year at this class, or is it something that takes a month? Is it, what's the time frame behind that?
Realistically speaking, you should devote about a month to it, but I wrote mine in about a week.
Okay. So you took that week and just kind of dedicated yourself to the paper, and you were able to not only have a successful paper, get all the way up to actual presentations.
Yes.
Very nice. And was that a nerve-wracking experience being up there speaking in front of all those people, or?
Well, I don't really get nervous in front of crowds. I mean, I certainly was nervous up to that point because I wanted to do the best that I could possibly do, but outside of that, I was fine.
So, more importantly, what did you do? I see you have a little prop here in your hand.
Yeah, sure. Basically, I studied making inexpensive spacecraft heat shields. You see, spacecraft are predominantly made of aluminum, and that melts at a relatively low temperature compared to other things. And when they come back through the atmosphere on re-entry, if you're landing on another planet, if you're coming back to Earth, they get very, very hot through a complicated series of things. So what I did is I looked at a means of protecting them with an ablative material. And one of these tests that I did is this representation of a spacecraft hull. It's an aluminum disc that I heated over a Meeker Fisher burner, and it burned clean through. And I did the exact same thing with a bit of heat shield sample, and as you can see,
held up.
Exactly.
Very nice. And what got you into spacecraft? That's a pretty specific topic.
It is a pretty specific topic. It's something I've always had a fascination in ever since I really was maybe 5 or 6 years old. But I think what really got me into it was the fact that with the rise of commercial space travel, that was the big thing that I wanted to focus on here. Because, I mean, it's been about 30 or 40 years since we've had real development in terms of technology, and I figured there were things that could be revisited. So I decided to focus on heat shields because it was the easiest thing I could come up with.
Very cool. It's intense, but it's definitely a practical way to go about trying something like spacecraft. So that's very interesting. Yes. Anything you want to leave us with? Or the same thing I asked Gianna, something to get people involved in the research program, or what got you into it that made people bridge that gap?
Well, I think the biggest piece of advice that I can leave from this is definitely invent for yourself and come up with the thing that you want to see in the world, because you get more involved in it that way.
That's a great advice. That's a great advice for anything, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Matt. It was a real pleasure.
Thank you, Mr. Metzel.
And we're going to send it back to you, Darren. Thank you.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Gianna and Matt, and thank you, Mark, for introducing us to these talented young scientists. They will surely use their talents to help make our world a better place. And I want to send a nice congratulations out to Mark for his new baby as well. Well, we have to take a quick break, but come right back for our next guest, Social Studies Supervisor, Vincent Sacadato. Welcome back to The Bridge. You're here with Darren Soretto, and I'm happy to welcome Social Studies Supervisor, Vincent Sacadato. Welcome, Vinny. How you doing today?
Good, Darren. Thanks. Good to see you.
Glad to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Great. Now, Vinny, before we get started, you are aware that this is not the first time we've worked together, right?
Right. We've worked together on some elementary Spanish curriculum.
That's right. And I have somebody from that curriculum. It's Carlos.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Carlos.
Hola, Vinny.
Haven't seen him in a couple of years. A big favorite of the students, though.
Yes. Vanessa couldn't make it.
Okay.
Sorry. I was the horse. You were a great actor. The way you threw the broccoli, amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing.
All right. Yep. It was my acting debut.
Okay, let's get serious.
Okay.
Can you tell us a little bit about your career in Woodbridge Township School District?
Sure. I've been here for 20 years, a little over 20 years. Taught at a couple of the middle schools, a couple of the high schools, and for the last 14 years I've been the social studies supervisor.
Now, most recently you've been involved with SUPA, which stands for?
Syracuse University Project Advance.
Great, great. And how did Woodbridge get involved with this SUPA program?
Well, About 3 years ago, Mr. Bader was at a conference and he first learned of the program, and he was very intrigued by it. And when he came back, he told us about it at a supervisors meeting, and he said he was interested in bringing it into the district. And he asked us to start talking to our areas and seeing if there was any teachers who would like to be a part of the program. So when I saw that social studies, that history was available, I was his first volunteer.
Of course.
And I got the approval from him and Dr. Zaga, and I'm starting my 3rd year of it.
Oh, that's awesome. Sounds like a great program.
It is.
Now, what's your role been with the program? Like, what do you do?
Well, I teach Syracuse's History 101 and 102 courses over at Kennedy.
Awesome.
And I also oversaw the partnership when we got involved with Syracuse. I helped set up the partnership, worked with the university, the teachers that wanted to get involved. I helped them get their approval and helped set up the training, which takes place at Syracuse University.
Oh, wow, you did a lot of the legwork then, right?
Yeah. Yep, I did.
Very good. I think we have some footage of your super class. It's not in Spanish, is it?
No, it's not.
Oh, good, because then we'd have to get Carlos. Can you tell us about what you're teaching here and how it's done?
Sure. What we're seeing here is a lesson on the Cuban Missile Crisis, and just a little bit of background on that. It was an event. It was a crisis between the United States and the Soviet Union that lasted for 13 days. So what I'm doing is reviewing primary sources with the students, and what we're looking at is primary sources for all of the 13 days. And we're reviewing those and getting an idea of how the crisis was unfolding and just how serious it was. There were a lot of letters and phone calls back and forth between President Kennedy and Khrushchev, the premier of the Soviet Union. One of the most interesting primary sources we're looking at is a letter that Fidel Castro wrote to Khrushchev, actually encouraging him to launch a first strike attack on the United States using nuclear weapons. So after reading that, the kids realized just how serious the situation was and how close we came to, what could have been nuclear annihilation.
Sure. What a critical time in history.
Absolutely.
It's good that the students can see that. Now, what benefits do you see for students who opt to enroll in a Syracuse course being offered by the district?
The great benefit and the reason for the program is that students can have an authentic college experience before actually stepping foot on a college campus. A lot of students, when they start their freshman year of college, they're overwhelmed with the pacing that is involved in taking college courses, with the tremendous amount of reading that they're responsible for, and a lot of them say that they were not expecting that, so it can be very overwhelming. But taking a Syracuse course, the students see just what they're responsible for and how intense it could be, because we use the same exact materials that they would use in their class at Syracuse. The textbook, the ancillary readings, whatever the professors require for their course, we're using the same thing. So it's the exact course that they would take at Syracuse, but instead of being there, they're taking it here.
What a great, that's great for them to be able to experience that before they get to college.
It is.
What a great benefit. Awesome. Now, maybe our viewers would like to hear from the students about SUPA and hear exactly what they feel about it.
Okay.
We have some footage, right?
Sounds good.
All right, and let's take a look.
So what motivated me to enroll in SUPA history was the fact that it's a college class where we're taking it in our high school, so we're not going to a traditional college campus to take college courses, but also the fact that because it's a college class and we're not preparing for an AP exam, it was more laid back and more relaxed setting as opposed to like an AP class where we're being rushed and like we're being hammered in all these information in a short period of time.
My expectations before starting this class was that it was going to be like that monotonous, drilled in college experience that was like routine and told to us all the time. Like in college, it's going to be a very big class, you're not very noticed, you're always going to be sitting down, listening to your lecture, and the teacher's just going on, and they don't really care about the students in college. It's basically like you're on your own. But when I got to the class, it was like very different because we had a smaller class, but also the way that the teacher taught. Mr. Sakadato didn't go by just basic lectures. Like, we did lecture, but he reinforced the ideas to us. He gave us different visuals and different presentations, and I could still recall and tell you about them, which is very different from my other classes that I take right now.
I was far more than satisfied with this experience. I learned a lot, and normally in other classes what you might expect is you will learn the information and forget it, but this information was presented to me in such a way that I just wanted to absorb it. I wanted to sit in that class. I never fell asleep in that class. I loved it, and I loved sitting, I loved listening, I loved observing, I loved doing all the activities that he would give us, because all of these activities would, even without knowing, instill knowledge in us about the topic.
Absolutely floored by the experience. It was unlike anything I've ever been through, and I thought it really helped me out because this is something that really prepares you for college. You get to know how things run in college, and the way Mr. Sakadato really lays it down for you, you get a very nice experience.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it. It was definitely scary from the start to like go into a college program and take it early in the morning and like have that workload on you. But once you get into it, it motivates you to do more, and it's kind of like definitely worth the sacrifice that you, like, if you give up sleep or your time or whatever, it's definitely worth that sacrifice to learn more and be prepared for what's coming at you.
Don't be a star, be a superstar.
Wow, you certainly have some devoted fans there, Mr. Sakadato.
Thank you. They're a great bunch of kids.
Oh, I'm sure they are. They look like they really enjoy what they're doing there.
We had a good time.
Awesome.
We really did.
Now, are there any requirements for students who want to enroll in the program?
The only requirement really is you have to be a junior or senior. That's it.
That's it. That's the only requirements.
That's it. Yeah,
Wow.
and dedication.
Okay. Yeah, of course. How about for teaching the course? Any requirements for that?
There are a few requirements for teachers. The first being that you have to have a master's degree to teach any of the Syracuse classes.
Okay.
The second one is that you have to have a minimum of 5 years teaching experience.
Okay.
And the last one is you have to be willing to travel up to Syracuse University in the summer and spend a week there training with the professors.
Oh, a little vacation time, right?
Well,
vacation, work together, right?
yeah.
Well, Vinny, thank you so much for coming and sharing all this information. Carlos and I, let me get Carlos here. Carlos and I really appreciate it. So adios, amigos.
Adios. Good to see you again, Carlos, and good to see you too, Darren.
You too, Vin. I'll see you soon, all right?
All right, thanks.
Up next, we are heading out to Colonia Middle School to learn about the very special Friday's Friends program. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Bridge. Now it's time to introduce our middle school correspondent, Joe Azzarello. Joe is a beloved language arts teacher and coach at Colonia Middle School, and he's going to introduce us to the Friday's Friends program, also at Colonia Middle School. Let's go to Joe Azzarello now and learn about Friday's Friends.
Right now we're with Dan Devitt. Dan is a member of Friday's Friends. How do you like it?
I like Friday's Friends because I feel like it bridges the two communities in the school together, and it makes them like mesh, and it makes them feel involved in the school.
Okay, great. What are some of the activities that you've done recently with your friends?
Well, today we're making the Mother's Day cards, and we've done like parachutes with Lego men, and that teaches them about science, and we've done things outside like playing games, and it just helps them like connect with us.
Awesome. And how long have you been in the program?
I've been in the program since the second semester, so a few months now.
A few months, okay. How are you gonna feel come June when it ends?
I'm gonna be sad, but I know that I'll see them again in like other programs that I'll do in the future. So.
Right, great. Thanks, Dan. Ladies, how's Friday's Friends going?
Good. It's really fun.
I love it.
And you can learn a lot from it.
Ah, so you're learning by interacting with the students.
Yeah. I know a lot of different things that we don't. A lot of like
new ways to do things. Each of them have their own special abilities, which really opens up your eyes because it's not just disabilities, they have more abilities.
Ah, really? All right, so do you get to work with the same friend each time?
Yeah.
or-
Yeah.
So you really get a good
Yeah.
chance to get to know them and everything.
It's a different kid. Each class, you're assigned a friend.
All right, what are some of the activities that you've done that really stand out for you?
Well, we get to go on trips with them, and yesterday we just went on one to the Somerset Patriots game, and that was really fun.
I loved it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, we're here with Mr. McCabe. He's one of the teachers. He brings his class into the Fridays Friends program. And Mr. McCabe, how have your children responded to the Fridays Friends program?
Excellent, excellent. Different gen ed students each semester get to be part of Fridays Friends.
Right.
So a great deal of the student body learns about my students, the different disabilities, it breaks down the walls, and friendships, true friendships seem to are born in this classroom. So they see them in the hallways, and they're high-fiving them, they see them in the cafeteria, and it's just breaking down stereotypes, and everyone's learning from it.
Right, so it goes beyond what happens in this classroom and
Yeah.
goes throughout the entire building.
Absolutely.
And hopefully
Into the community.
outside these school walls.
Absolutely, it's a great program. I hope more schools do it.
Wow, what a great program. This is what Woodbridge Township School District is all about. Now, before we get to our next segment, I thought we'd go off the program a bit so I can hang out with my friend Anthony Hine. In the last episode, he stopped by to visit the studio. This time, I'm heading out to Woodbridge High School. So, let's take a field trip. Hey, Aunt. Whew, I didn't know Woodbridge High School was so far. That was a long run. Good to see you.
Hey, Jared. How you doing?
Good
Thanks
to
for
see you,
coming.
buddy. Of course,
Thank
of
you.
course. Whew, that was a long run, man.
Whew.
Thanks for inviting me to Woodbridge High School. Look, I only have a short time before I need to get back to the studio. So I thought we'd play a quick game to recap some of the highlights in our district that we haven't covered on the bridge this school year.
Sounds great.
Yeah, I'll pull out a possible highlight from our basket of balls here, and you tell me if you think it really happened or not. Easy enough?
No problem.
Good luck. First one. The Boston Red Sox drafted a shortstop out of Colonia High School.
I don't really watch that many sports, but I think I would have heard about that, so I'm going to say it really didn't happen.
Actually, it's true.
Really?
Yeah, Michael Wilson just got drafted 15th round.
Wow, that's great. Excellent.
I know. I wish he was going to the Yankees, but
Yeah, Sox, whatever. Okay, my turn. Let's see. Okay. Woodbridge High School students painted downtown purple.
I kind of remember seeing some purple downtown. I'm going to say that's true.
Yes, it was. Our Interact Club at Woodbridge High School, along with the Art Club, went down for Cancer Relay and painted things and set up purple things to celebrate the Cancer Relay. And they raised more than $2,000.
Good for them.
Yeah, it was.
All right. A giant black bear climbed the Kennedy Park gym rope in record time and will participate in the next track meet.
Not true. I heard about the Kennedy bear over there. I know that they sent out a warning, but I don't think he actually climbed this gym rope, so I'll say it didn't happen.
Very good, Anthony. But I did hear they might change their mascot to the bear, so no, didn't happen.
Okay, let's see what we have here. A former Colonia student sang with Adam and Levine on The Voice.
No, I don't remember seeing that. I'm going to say that's not true.
No, it was true. Mike Schiavo from Colonia High School, and he's waiting to be called up now.
All right. Well, talking about music, an Islam middle school student wrote 10 original songs and covered an Eminem song on YouTube, which got over 600,000 hits.
I'm not really sure about this one, but I'm going to say true, just because everybody has a YouTube channel today. So is it?
It is true.
Really?
Yeah, his name is Spar Shaw. I actually remember him back when he was in first grade, school 28. And amazing that he's doing all these music videos, and amazing boy.
Woodbridge High School anatomy students are seeing dead people, and it's not Halloween, and it's not on The Walking Dead.
Huh. Well, I'm going to say zombies are so big these days. I'm going to say that's true.
It is. The Anatomy Club, through a program with Rutgers, is actually going to be using cadavers at Rutgers. And eventually, I heard that they're going to even get to the brains. So
Wow.
they're dealing with dead people. Really cool.
That is really wild. Nice. Okay, Woodbridge High School Science Club built a drone big enough to fly Principal Lotman high above your football field here.
I'm going to say false.
You're correct.
That's good. Although I think they really could do
Get
it.
Lotman all the way up there.
It'd be neat.
Didn't happen. Thanks, Ant. I got to get back to the studio.
Thank you for coming, Darren.
Thanks for inviting me, man. Appreciate it. I hope you come back to the studio and we'll do something else.
For the next episode.
Excellent.
Great.
Lots of traffic. We have to take a quick break, but come right back. We still have lots more to come, including talented scholar athletes and Aviel Balessa, our special guest musician. Thanks for coming back to the Bridge. It's time for sports, and we're focusing today on scholar athletes, recent graduates who are playing sports in college. Correspondent, coach, all-star basketball player, and brand new dad, Mark Menzel has the story. Over to you, Mark.
Thanks, Darren. I'm here at John F. Kennedy to kick off our coverage, and I'm here with Francesca. How are you doing, Francesca?
Good, how are you?
Good. So we're talking to different athletes around the schools, and we're starting off with Francesca. And what sport do you play, Francesca?
I play volleyball.
Volleyball. And how many years have you been playing volleyball for?
5 years, since 8th grade.
Since 8th grade, okay. And what got you into the sport initially?
My sister played volleyball, so I just joined.
Joined, awesome. And what school are you attending next year?
Gettysburg College.
Okay, and where's Gettysburg?
It's in Pennsylvania.
Very cool. And were there any other colleges that you were interested in attending before you chose Gettysburg ultimately?
Yeah, I was looking at Scranton and Florida Southern.
Nice. And what ultimately brought you back to Gettysburg to make you choose that over the other two?
The academic programs that they offer.
Excellent. What are you going for?
Health sciences.
Nice. And what do you ultimately want to be when you grow up here?
Either a physical therapist or a dentist.
Ooh, very nice. Very cool. And anything else you want to add with the bridge?
Yeah, I broke the school record for the most amount of kills with 869. And coincidentally enough, it was my sister Cassie Garrison's record.
Very cool, very cool. Well, thank you for appearing with us, and we're going to bring Anthony Del Popolo on with us. Anthony, how you been?
Good. How you
Thanks for
doing?
being on the show. So tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're going.
I'm going to East Stroudsburg University in PA. I'm going to run track, and I'm a major in physical training.
Very nice. And what got you into track? Have you been doing it a while, or?
My coach actually pushed me to do it so I can get more condition for football.
Football player too. What position did you play for football?
Linebacker and receiver.
And you played here at Kennedy?
Yep.
Nice, very nice. And what I know track has all different elements, different races. So what do you do for the track team?
Sprints and hurdles.
Nice. And there are different forms of hurdles too, right? Which hurdles do you do?
I do all of them.
You do all of them. Okay.
110 hurdles, 400-meter hurdles, 55-meter hurdles.
Nice. And what got you into hurdles opposed to just straight running sprints or long distance?
My coach actually pushed me towards that too. He thought I'd be really good at it.
Very nice. And for those who want to get into hurdles, because that is a unique thing, what advice can you give them?
Get taller.
Get taller. Okay, nice. And anything else you want to share with us? What made you choose East Stroudsburg over some of the other schools?
My major there is really good there. Most of the professors there are alumni from the school, so they kind of understand like what I'm going through and all the practice and everything. So it's a good environment to be in.
Perfect, perfect. And is there any advice you can leave us with here today that you can tell some of the younger viewers?
Get involved in high school, man. Just do everything you can.
That's great. That's great advice. Absolutely. Well, thank you. Anything else you want to add?
That's it.
Thank you for being on the show. We're going to throw it back to our next segment, wrapping up here at Kennedy. And next up is Colonial High School. Hi, welcome to our next segment here at Colonia High School. I'm here with Julie Wright, and we're going to talk a little bit about Colonia sports. How are you doing, Julie?
I'm good. I'm doing great.
Thanks for being on the show. So I'm going to ask you a little bit about what did you play here at Colonia High School?
Well, freshman year and sophomore year, I started as the varsity goalie for soccer. I've played basketball for 4 years, started 3, and same with softball, started 3.
Excellent. And what would you say your main sport is?
I would say softball.
Excellent. And is that where you're playing here? Tell us a little about the college you chose.
I chose to play at Centenary College. The coach is awesome. She's very similar. She uses a very similar coaching style to Coach Serrana here, which I like a lot. It's not a very difficult transition for me. And the girls are great, and I'm just looking forward to being an asset on that team as well.
That's excellent. What position do you play, can I ask?
I play second base. I've played there. I honestly can't think of a time where I've played another position.
And your shirt here says Centenary College. What made you choose that, and did you have any other choices for different schools you were looking at too?
Yeah, I chose Centenary. I was only looking at 2 other schools, Drew and Sarah Lawrence, which is in Bronxville, New York. But I chose Centenary because I just love the area. It's very rural, and you don't feel like you're in New Jersey, but you are. So it's good because I'm close enough to come home if, God forbid, something happened and I want to be near my family. So I like the area and the distance and the people there.
Excellent, excellent. And if you had to leave us with one highlight of your career, is there anything that stands out to you above all the others?
Yeah, it's got to be our game against Edison, first round of GMCs this season. We had to go into extra innings. We were tied 10-10, and I hit a double right off the fence. Everyone thought it was going over, so everyone was going crazy, and then it didn't. But you know what? It was fine because my teammate right after that, she brought me right in, and she got a walk-off double right after me, so it was perfect.
That's great. Okay, that wraps up Julie, and I want to bring in here Chase over here, Chase Barneys. Thank you, Julie, for being on the show. Chase, how you been, my man?
I'm doing good.
All right, awesome. So I'm here with Chase Barneys. Chase, tell us a little bit about what you played for Colonia High School.
I played football for 3 years on varsity, and I'm a 4-year starter for basketball.
And what position? We'll start with football. What did you play position-wise for football?
I played quarterback, wide receiver, and cornerback.
Very nice. You got a favorite position of those 3?
I like corner and receiver.
Corner and receiver, very nice. And okay, so let's talk a little bit about basketball. I know you had some success here. What are some of your highlights from the basketball career, 4 years?
Freshman year, I was all freshman team. Sophomore year, I was all sophomore team. Junior year, I was all white division, and we won a county and state championship. And then senior year, I was all county and scored my 1,000-point.
1,000-point score, that's excellent. And I see you have a throwback to some of your older days at playing football growing up here, but where did you decide to go to take your talents?
Rutgers Newark.
Rutgers Newark, very nice. And what made you, first off, what were some of the other schools you chose? And ultimately, what made you choose Rutgers Newark over the other ones?
I was getting recruited by Kane, FDU, and I like Rutgers Newark because it's far from home, but it's not, just in case I need anything from my parents. And it's just a family there with the basketball team, and there's a lot of great people there.
So great people I think that's really important too, and I think you have the same theme as Julie with being close to home and having that kind of sense of back in New Jersey here. So anything you want to leave us with, and any advice for the younger audience members, younger athletes out here looking at us?
I would just say under pressure, just keep calm, just keep your focus, and doing things at your own pace, like school stuff, and that'll just help you out. That's about it.
Thanks for being on the show, Chase. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Last, we're going to talk to Alex Williams. How we doing, Alex? Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So Alex, come on in, Alex. Alex is going to be our last person here speaking to Colonia High School. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you play, and positions, all that?
My sophomore year, I was a cheerleader on the JV cheering team, and then this year I've been playing softball.
So softball is your main, and what position do you play for softball?
Shortstop and utility.
Utility. So for the viewers who aren't big softball fans out there, what is a utility position?
It's basically any position that I'm needed. So the coach would come up to me and ask me, "Are you ready to play this position today?" And I'd say yes, and she'd throw me right in.
Wow. And you've played every position?
Every position but pitcher.
Wow. And how is that preparing for something like that, where you're not in a set role every single game?
It's pretty difficult. I mean, I have to be ready at all times. I have to be warm, and I have to be pumped up and ready to get into the game, and I have to be focused at all times. So.
And focus is definitely, I would think, a big one. What is it for you? What's your favorite position? If you get the coach coming to you and says you're playing this position, what are you most excited to hear?
Shortstop.
Shortstop, very cool. And now you got the Colonia Pride on today, but you're also playing at the next level. Where are you going to be playing?
Middlesex County College.
Okay, and what made you choose Middlesex, and what were some of your other choices out there?
Well, my parents let me pick 3 schools, and my reach school was University of Florida, and then my safe school was William Patterson, and then I chose to go to Middlesex for my first 2 years because I was undecided on my major for academics, and then I also decided that it was close to home, and I really like the softball program and the people that go there, and I have a lot of friends to count on, so I know that I'll be okay.
Very nice. So that's a big steps all the way through from Middlesex County College all the way up to Florida. And so you're playing for 2 years, and then ultimately, do you want to try to see if you can still go to Florida at that point?
Of course.
Oh, really? Okay. So that's exciting. So anything you want to leave us with? Any highlights or something that really stood out to you?
My freshman year when my whole team won GMCs, that was probably the biggest highlight because that was probably the point of my softball career where I realized that I could do this, and if I pushed my way through, I'd make it to varsity in my junior year. I did.
That's great. That's great to hear. Well, that wraps up our coverage here at Colonia High School. Our next step is Woodbridge High School. We're here at Woodbridge High School and here to talk to Justine Stepfiura. How you doing, Justine?
Good, how are you?
Very good. Thank you for being on the show. So we're going around and talking to different athletes, and you know, I want to ask you first, what do you play and you know, here at Woodbridge High School?
I play soccer and softball. I was a 4-year varsity athlete for both. I'm a goalie for soccer, and I play third base and outfield for softball.
Very nice. And do you have a favorite sport out of all the sports you play?
I kind of like softball a little better, not much.
Great, okay. And I see you have a shirt here, Centenary College. Tell us a little bit about the school and why you wanted to go there.
I like a smaller school. It's more intimate. I know the teachers more. It'll be easier for schoolwork. And when you're up there, it doesn't even feel like you're in New Jersey. It feels like you're so far away from home.
Very nice, very nice. And were there any other schools that you were considering attending?
I was considering Flagler College. That's down in Florida, but that was a little too far for me.
So at the end of the day, you wanted to stay close to home?
Yes.
Okay, very nice. And now what sport are you going to be playing for Centenary?
Both soccer and softball.
Oh, wow. So you're going to be the first athlete we talked to today that's supposed to both. That's played both. That's very good. Anything you want to tell some of the audience, some of the maybe the young girls that might be watching you that want to play softball or entering into high school, advice?
Well, always to work hard. If you work hard, you'll get where you want to be, what you want, and to always have trust in your teammates because you can't do everything by yourself.
Great advice, great advice. And before we go to our next person, any one thing that stood out in your high school career here at Woodbridge?
I just talked about having trust in my teammates, and this year I got my 100th hit, and they were really pushing for me this year, and I really felt like I had a nice team behind me.
And where does that put you in the overall hits?
100, a third in school overall.
Third in school history, that's something to be proud of. Thank you so much for being on the show. We're going to bring our next guest in, Mr. Tracy Fudge Jr. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Welcome to the show. So, just wanted to talk a little bit, same questions I asked her. What are some of the sports you played here at Woodbridge High School?
I played football, I played basketball freshman and sophomore year, and then I did track. Football is my #1 sport. I'm a 2-year varsity starter in football, and that's really that's
busy man then. So almost every season you're playing something.
Yeah.
And is there any advice you could give to somebody coming into to high school as if they want to get to your shoes where they're playing varsity?
Just to stay active in the books and work hard. Don't give up. Things may not seem like they're going your way, but trust the coaches, trust yourself, and just work hard and you'll get there.
Very nice. And what position did you play for the football team?
I played quarterback.
Nice. Is that a lot of responsibility? How'd you handle that?
I mean, I've been doing it all my life, so it was, it's second nature to me now.
Nice, nice. And what school are you going to be attending next year?
I'm going to Stevenson University in Maryland.
Oh, wow. So we have another one going out of state. So what made you excited about Maryland, and what other schools were you thinking about?
I was considering Fairleigh Dickinson University and Delaware Valley. Those are my other top schools. I chose Stevenson University. It was a nice campus. Something about that school attracted me there as soon as I got there. The coaching staff was, welcoming, and it's a fairly new football program there, and that excited me about being a part of that.
So you're gonna have opportunity right away to kind of step in there.
Yeah.
Nice. Are you thinking about staying with quarterback, or are you gonna play other positions?
Yeah. Hopefully the plan is to stay at quarterback.
Very nice, very nice. And same thing I asked that. Anything that stands out to you over your career that that one shining moment that you can think back on here at Woodbridge High School?
Probably beating Irvington last year in the playoffs first round, 34-33. I think.
Wow.
Yeah, we were down by 2 scores at halftime. We tied it up in the third quarter. They went up by 2 scores going to the fourth, and we came back and beat them.
Wow. And how was that for your team after that victory?
That game was crazy. It was just unbelievable. We're crying. It was.
And that's something you're going to think about for the rest of your life. Absolutely. Well, thanks so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
And that wraps up our segment here at Woodbridge High School. We're going to toss it back to Darren in the studio. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Mark. What great students we have in our Woodbridge Township high schools. They are certainly ready for a bright future. Congratulations and best of luck to these awesome scholar athletes, as well as to all the class of 2016. Come right back after this short break. So we're back with The Bridge and musical guest Aviel Balesa. Welcome, Aviel.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you too.
Now, Aviel, congratulations on starting high school at Woodbridge High School.
Yes, thank you.
How was that experience? Are you having a good time?
Great time.
That's awesome. And does it feel different being a high schooler now?
Yeah, it's a lot more liberating compared to like middle school.
Great. And how's Mr. Lotman as a principal?
He's really nice. Yeah.
He is good. He's a good friend of mine. So tell him I said hi.
Will do.
Awesome. Okay, now first of all, I'm looking here. I have a list of your many musical talents. Just kidding. But really, you've practiced, now I have here, singing, songwriting, playing guitar, piano, drums, bass, clarinet. Any other instruments I missed?
I think you got it all.
I got it all. That's quite a list. Amazing. Tell us, when did you begin your musical explorations?
I probably started when I was like 8, and I saw this European band called McFly playing, and like I just got really into the energy that they were producing on stage, and I kind of saw that and was like, I want to do that too.
Oh, very cool. Are you still into them? Or are they still like
yeah, definitely.
Yeah? Oh, very cool. I never heard of them. I have to listen to them now.
Yeah.
Great. Now, you've played in the Avenel Middle School Band for 3 years and the Gifted and Talented Music Program for 4 years, right? Do you prefer playing in a band or solo? Which do you prefer more?
I think it's cooler to play with people because then you're able to kind of feed off each other's energy, and you have something to share the experience with.
Okay, great explanation. That's great. Now, I was fortunate enough to be in attendance at the district board meeting that you played at, and I was just in awe of your talent. Just amazing. You were definitely the highlight of the whole meeting.
Thank you.
Now, you're aware that Mr. Bader is one of your biggest fans too, right? He constantly talks about you, and rightly so. You're an amazing, talented musician. Now, what was the biggest stage you played for?
A couple years ago, during the summertime, I went to New York for a week and I played for Carnegie Hall with a choir.
Wow, Carnegie Hall, that's pretty big.
Yeah.
Were you nervous or?
No, because I had like people there, so it wasn't that bad.
Cool, awesome. What are your future career goals? What do you want to do when you get older?
Well, when I graduate high school, I want to go to the Hawaii campus of NYFA and study filming.
Oh, cool. So you want to get into film too?
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Oh, I'm sure you're going to be great in film.
Thank you.
We'll add that to your list too, if you don't mind. Is that good? Okay, last question. You're stranded on a deserted island with one instrument. What do you choose?
I'd probably choose the guitar because it's got that like beach vibe feel. Yeah.
Beach vibe, you like that kind of chill? And
kind of like Jamaican groove going on.
Oh, very cool. Aviel, thank you so much for letting us learn more about the wonderful person that you are. Would you mind sharing some of your musical talent with us over on the studio?
Of course.
We're going to take a quick break, but come right back to hear Aviel performing Make You Feel My Love. Come right back.
When the rain is blowing in your face and the whole world is on your case, I would offer you my warm embrace to make you feel my love. When evening shadows and the stars appear and there is no one there to dry your tears, I could hold you for a million years to make you feel my love. I know you haven't made your mind up yet, though I can never do you wrong. I've known it from the very moment we met. No doubt in my mind where you belong. I go hungry, I go black and blue. I go crawling down is nothing that I wouldn't do to make you feel my love. The storms are raging down the rolling sea and down the highway of regret. I know you haven't made your mind up yet. There's no doubt in my mind where you belong. Make you happy, make your dreams come true. There's nothing that I wouldn't do. Go to the ends of the earth for you to make you feel my love, to make you feel my love.
Breathtaking performance, Avia. Billy Joel, eat your heart out. You truly have a gift. Thank you for sharing it with us. One day, viewers, when you see Aviel performing for the world, you'll look back and say, I saw her here on the bridge first. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Darren Soretto, helping you stay connected on the bridge. See you next time.